Hi, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. It's so good to be with you guys here on this Sunday evening. Hope all of our region moms had a wonderful Mother's Day. We had a nice Mother's Day here as well. Got to spend some time with my mom yesterday, so it was great. It was a great weekend. So I hope you guys found the same. Now, how about the weather? Yesterday, we went from 70s at noon. Oh, things are great. And then we saw the product of the lake breeze this time of year. If you were anywhere along the lakeshore, even all the way down into northern Newton and Jasper County, our temperature went from the 70s yesterday back into the 40s by evening. It got pretty chilly with that wind shift. But again, wind is everything this time of year. And today you notice it, we're right back up into the 70s. It feels great. The lake breeze is basically mitigated by the push of warmer air coming in. So just amazing what Lake Michigan can do. That was all product of Lake Michigan yesterday. But we've got a lot going on weather-wise. In fact, we have a severe weather threat returning. It's been a fairly quiet set of weeks around here weather-wise, not just for us, but for much of the Midwest. All the action's really been down in the southern plains and down in the deep south. But things are going to change. We have a severe weather threat that arrives later this week. We'll talk about that. I don't think we're done after that either. I see another threat that comes our way next week as well, at least the potential for it. This pattern that we get into is going to produce more thunderstorms around here, and some of those we'll need to watch. So we'll dive into that forecast in terms of what all that looks like, and we'll let a couple more people join. Let's get through our sponsors real quick. Guys, if you need anything out of any of these crafts here in Northwest Indiana, these are all the experts. We'll start with Earl's Heating and Air Conditioning. Your AC is going to need a tune-up. You'll feel it by Thursday. And if you haven't had everything, service for this year yet, call Earl's. You can also go to their website, earlsheating.com. They're the most trusted heating company in Schererville since 1976. They serve Lake and Porter counties. So if you need anything done regarding AC work, Earl's is there for you. Publicserviceadjusting.com, the place to go if you have any insurance claims. Don't go to your insurance company first. Go to publicserviceadjusting.com. They're all local licensed insured adjusters. They will come out, take pictures, submit the claim. You don't have to do it. They'll talk to your insurance company and make sure you get top dollar back. They do all the work for you. It's 5-star reviews across the board. Publicserviceadjusting.com. Romans Roofing, local in the Hobart area. They serve all of Northwest Indiana. If you need anything done with your roof, maybe you need new gutters, they do more than that. They do windows as well. They do siding. They come out, they inspect everything for free. They give you a free estimate as well. So if there's something you need them to take a look at, have the experts over at Romans Roofing do that for you. Again, the website's romansroofing.net, or you can call them at 219-838-9111. When your first impressions are everything, you want to make your home the envy of the neighborhood with expertly placed landscape lighting to enhance security and the look of those new flower beds that you got in. Great Lakes Lighting is the place to go for that. It's lightupnwi.com. They do an amazing job. Lighting makes such a difference. If you think things look good in your lawn right now, wait till you get some lights on it. Again, for security purposes and to make it look good. They do a great job over at Great Lakes Lighting. Minogue.life, the place to go. Michael Minogue's been serving Northwest Indiana in the world of Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance for decades. He knows his stuff. A lot of you may have signed up for a plan on the phone or online and you don't know all the benefits that you have. He'll sit down with you, a no-cost review. He reviews all your current benefits and reviews your doctors and hospitals to make sure that they're all in network. If you request, they could even explore a different plan that could be a better fit for you as an individual. Minogue.life, the place to go for all of your needs around Medicare, Medicaid, and life insurance. Kate Cusack for Ruoff Mortgage. She says that the spring market's heating up, but the forecast is nothing but clear skies and smooth closings. I love her already. Smooth closings when you have Kate on your side. It's the truth. You guys, a couple of you have used her and you just love her to death. And we had her doing a live shot over the winter. She was great. Call or text her today to get a head start on securing your dream home in time for those summer pool parties. Guys, the last thing you want to do in the middle of summer is not be able to enjoy it by moving. She'll get everything in line. She'll get you pre-approved for your house. She'll get you all your paperwork that you need so that you're ready to go and jump on that dream home to make it as smooth and seamless as possible. Kate Cusack, Home Loan Girl on Facebook, or you can give her a call, 219-775-6645. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go for your Northwest Indiana plumbing needs. If you have maybe you're hooking up your hoses and your spigot's going crazy outside, they'll fix that. Maybe you need a new faucet in the kitchen, bathroom. They do Delta faucets. They do great work. TigerPlumbing.net, the place to go there. FBIBuildings.com. They've served Northwest Indiana and all the Midwest around pole barn construction. Commercial and residential, if you need any of that done, they've done over 20,000 of them. They do some great work as well. FBIbuildings.com. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They've been serving Northwest Indiana for decades as well. They've got brand new Jeeps ready to go. You can take all the doors off. It's crazy. But that would feel pretty nice on an evening like this. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And finally, last but not least, trust a team that values safety, integrity, and professionalism. T&T Tree Service. If you have any trees that need taken down, perhaps they look a little weak, we've got storms coming up. You might want to get them taken care of. They'll come out, take a look at it. They do everything professionally, even really tricky trees from storm damage. They can handle that too. T&T Tree Service, serving Northwest Indiana with excellence. Call today or visit tttreeservice.com. That is 3 T's in a row, tttreeservice.com. All right, let's say hi to our early birds. I think we've let some other people join here. Jacob's with us. Hi, Jacob. Rhonda's with us as well. Jeff, good evening to you. Jeff got his garden in today. Did anyone else get their garden in? It's on our list. I got the annuals in the ground today safely after a little frost over the last couple of days. We should be good. And just a heads up for everyone. Again, we usually throw some gardening tips on here too. But you're good to plant. All right, you can get the annuals in the ground. There's a couple signs we may have a chillier weekend here and there as we go throughout the rest of May. I'm not too worried about frost though, and if that does happen, and the small chance that it happens, we'll just cover things, okay? But I'm not worried about it. I think you can get things in the ground safely, especially with the rain that's coming this week. Some of the storms, plants like the Mother Nature's water versus our water. So I'd get them in the ground. We'll have warm soil temperatures this week as well with some humidity building in. So it looks like a really good week. So Jeff, glad you got your garden in today. Angie's with us. Derek says, what a beautiful Mother's Day. Yes, absolutely, Derek. Amy, hello to you. Dave, hello. Thanks for being with us here on this Sunday evening. Hi, Dee. Draga's here as well. Hello. Saying what a beautiful day. Wendy's with us. Gail, thank you very much. She had a wonderful Mother's Day. Mary's with us tonight. Terry as well. And Heather, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. All right, let's dive into the forecast. In terms of the big picture across the country right now, remember we had the lake breeze yesterday. We did not have it today because we're starting to feel the flow of this low pressure. This low pressure has ruined the deep south, all right? They had just the worst rainy, soaking washout of a weekend across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama. So, we're in a really nice spot on the weather map. I just want everyone to appreciate the fact that not a lot of people have these clear skies and had a beautiful weekend like we did. You can see, if you look outside right now, you can see the first little band of clouds off of this low well down to the south that's working through. We'll have increasing clouds tomorrow. And the reason why this low is coming our way, all right, it's essentially a cutoff low like what we had last week. This thing is starting to move as a trough digs into the west. It's getting picked up on that. And this will be our first half of the week issue, all right? And it's going to bring daily pop-up showers and thunderstorms. I don't see a severe potential with it. I do see kind of a Floridian forecast, especially once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, where we're going to have mainly diurnally driven or daytime driven with the heating pop-up showers and thunderstorms and some downpours. And it's all a product of this low coming our way. And then out towards the west, you can see there's a big system coming in. You notice the push of clouds in here. They've got a strong cold front. They've had some rain out there as well, kind of chilly in portions of the northwest as well. But this front is coming in, and this front is going to cause all sorts of problems once it gets to the plains, and that's where our severe weather threat comes from later this week. So let's go near term now. Here's tonight. Here's tomorrow morning. Here comes that low, starting to move pretty quickly in our direction. Again, clouds will increase throughout the day tomorrow. You'll notice the wind will start to pick up out of the east-southeast, and eventually we'll bring in some rain with this. There's a chance that a shower could get in here later tomorrow afternoon and the evening. We've got some dry air in place that I'll show you here in a second, and that dry air, that rain's going to have to overcome that. We're going to have to get moisture in the atmosphere, essentially, because any rain that would fall would evaporate initially, which it could here. You see how some of the modeling picking up on some of these bands moving in and kind of fading as they move in. I could see that. But either way, that's kind of what we're dealing with tomorrow afternoon is increasing clouds with a stray shower or two making it in here. I think most areas are going to be dry. Tomorrow night, can't rule out a leftover shower off of whatever develops tomorrow down to our southeast. And then here's your better chance of rain on Tuesday. Not quite getting into it here on the modeling, but you see the nature to it. We're going to have pop-up downpours around the region as that low rotates through. Again, I am not worried about a severe threat on Tuesday here locally, and we'll have more kind of lingering action around here on Wednesday. All right. The next thing I want to show you is our temperatures on a big scale. So here's your chilly air out west. Look at this little bubble of warmth that's in the northern plains, all right, up in here, okay? This is 90-degree heat in the Dakotas and Minnesota tomorrow or today, all right? Same thing happens tomorrow, okay? Same thing. Very, very warm, if not hot up here. In fact, it's going to be hotter there than portions of Texas, all right? For us, this heat would come east. We would get it tomorrow if it wasn't for this low pressure. We have to wait for this low to rotate through, and you see kind of the cooler conditions with this low. This low, as it comes north, is going to do a couple things, all right? It's going to keep the heat at bay. This is Tuesday afternoon now, but it's also bringing a slug of moisture in here and humidity, all right? So that's going to set the stage where we have humidity from the Gulf that gets here on Tuesday. You'll feel it, and I'll show you those numbers in a second. But that humidity is going to lead to a cold front coming in with humidity in place, like big time numbers, and we're going to, the low pressure that comes in the next 2 days is going to spark some of those showers and thunderstorms that could be severe later this week, all right? So it kind of sets the table, so to speak, for that severe weather. But I want to show you this warmth here. Finally, the low gets out of here on Wednesday, so the heat's starting to move now. Here's your low. See the cooler air over here? And then here comes your front right there where we get up real warm, depending on when the rain hits on Thursday. Look at this chunk of cold that gets wrapped into this low as well, where we're going to have on the map 40s and likely 90s somewhere in Illinois, and then 40s back in the Dakotas. These are areas that are up near 100 in spots. So big, big change. And you could tell just looking at the temperature map, kind of looks like an eagle or maybe a robin. We've got a robin that's nesting, and you can't go anywhere near it. It's so annoying. But just look, see the wings coming up? Anyway, so there's that. And then this cooler air comes in here for the weekend. It doesn't last too long. And then you can see how we kind of do it again right here with another system later next week with cold air, warm air. You get the idea. There's going to be a lot at play here. So in terms of severe weather, this is today, no real issue. This is tomorrow. I'm not worried about severe weather. Could have a rumble of thunder. That's what is being indicated there by the thunderstorm category. And then I'm not worried about anything on Wednesday. But here we go. Day 5 is what the Storm Prediction Center is saying. Uh-oh, we might have a little risk here in Illinois and Indiana. In areas of southern Wisconsin. All right, that's Thursday. So let's dive into the details of Thursday. Here we go. Here comes our low pressure. There's your pop-ups on Tuesday afternoon. Nothing crazy, just kind of a Florida forecast where they pop up in the heating of the day. Most of it goes away at night, and then we do it all over again Wednesday, which is a few lingering pop-up downpours around here. All right. A lot of times on the modeling, you can see how Tuesday, you would say we've got a better chance of rain on Tuesday here across the region, right? We're just kind of socked into a rain chance in general. And then Wednesday, you'd say, well, most of it's starting to clear out. What often happens in events like this is we'll look at it and it'll look like that, like, oh, Wednesday may be a lingering. And sometimes we'll get more of the rain and pop-ups on Wednesday than Tuesday. So either way, I would put equal chances. I would put it probably at about 60% coverage both days in terms of rain, okay? And then Thursday, we say goodbye to that low finally, and then here comes that powerhouse system up in the northern plains. All right, this would likely Thursday morning have severe weather ongoing across portions of Iowa and Minnesota, and then in the afternoon right here, models, most of them are indicating this, but this is the Euro, for example, indicates that we would have explosive thunderstorms developing somewhere in or around Illinois and Indiana, and it would form a large complex. All right, we get this big complex of storms that develops and rolls through. You know, timing of that, still too early to tell. For me right now, it's later in the afternoon into the evening hours that we'd have to watch, but timing's going to change on that. And intensity, I mean, we know that we're going to be hot. Well, I guess we don't know that yet because I haven't showed that. We're going to be hot on Thursday. We have a chance of getting in the upper 80s, maybe near 90 degrees if we get some sunshine. And we're also going to be very humid. It's going to be our hottest day of the year so far. And we're going to have heat indices. Let me get some water. My voice is doing that thing. And we're going to have heat indices. They're going to be well into the 90s on Thursday. So this is some true summer heat that's coming our way. So the atmosphere will be loaded. Our cape's going to be off the charts. We just need a lifting mechanism, and we'll have that with the front. So that being said, we have the risk for that severe weather on Thursday. And some of those storms could be pretty feisty. They really could. Damaging winds would be primary threat with this. There would be a tornado threat with it as well. For me, damaging winds and hail would be the two big ones with this one, though. And again, could get a little feisty on Thursday. And then that goes by, And you can see on Friday, we're kind of in between this big low with the cold air and the severe weather, which would be out east. So I think we squeak in a dry day as of now on Friday. And then for the weekend, we're just cooler, but most of the rain as of now misses us to the north. I know a lot of us thinking about weekend plans this time of year, a lot going on. And I would keep my eye on this because sometimes the models will change. That low will linger or the low will head further south behind it. So the rain chance isn't completely ruled out this weekend, but for right now, we would keep it dry. And then next week, we do it all over again, where we get a warm front in here, and then we get this strong cold front right there. And again, timing, who knows? Things could change a little bit, but there's some kind of strong low pressure system. And this one, we wouldn't have quite the heat and quite the humidity with it. It would be a little bit more of a brief window. But as of right now, next Tuesday, I would put on the calendar as we may have another round of severe weather. This one, to me, the fact that we don't have the heat and the humidity, I mean, it's there, but it's not quite what Thursday is kind of overrun by the fact that this low pressure is going to be closer to us. So we're going to have more lift available, more energy. And this looks like a decent storm system as well with severe weather threat. And then we turn sharply cooler behind that too in the middle of next week. And then we might do it all over again after that. So very active pattern around here. The other thing I want to show you is the dew point. So this measures how muggy it feels. All right, so let's go through that. The reason why I feel so good outside right now is the fact that we've got very dry air, right? We don't have the humidity right now. Our dew point's in the 40s. I even have some 30s on the latest measurement. So very dry air. You can't feel it. It's just downright comfortable outside. Well, that changes once you get into this green stuff. Once the dew point gets above 50, just as a recap, I'm always talking dew point in the summer. Once it gets above 50, you can feel the air. Once the dew point gets above 60, we call it humid. Once it gets above 70, that's the real tropical thick stuff, like the yuck, right? The corn sweat kind of stuff, right? So watch what happens. We're in the 40s now. Tonight we're fine. Then remember that low is going to transport all sorts of humidity our way. You can see all the humidity with that low. So by tomorrow evening, you'll notice that it's becoming more humid outside. And then by Tuesday, we're in it. All right. We've got widespread 60-degree dew points around here. That's some of our highest of the year. We've had a couple 60-degree dew point days, mainly out ahead of thunderstorms that we've had over the past month and a half. But this is going to be kind of a humid day around here on Tuesday. All right. And then that sets the stage for another humid day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, here comes your front. All right. See the big drop off behind that front. But we get dew points that surge into the mid, even upper 60s, even some 70s downstate. All right. I mean, that's a true summertime setup, but that is fuel for these showers and thunderstorms to really be able to wring out some moisture, number one, but number two, to feel growth of thunderstorms and to really get that cloud level up as well. So a lot going on with that on Thursday. We would bring in drier, more comfortable air Friday, Saturday. The weekend doesn't look humid at all, looks dry and cooler. And then next week, you can see how we reload a smaller window, but the potential's there for dew points to get back up into the mid and upper 60s with another threat of severe weather. All right. Temperatures, this is the last thing I'll show you. Then you guys can throw questions in the chat. You can throw them in now if you have anything that you need to know. But in terms of temperatures, notice how, we're not bad, right? Warm tomorrow, just a hair cooler, but more humid Tuesday, Wednesday, so it won't feel much different. And look at overnight lows as well. 51 tonight, that's because we've got dry air. Dry air heats up and cools down quickly. So we'll be warm tomorrow, right? Because we heat up quickly, but we also cool down quickly tonight. And then when we bring in humidity, it kind of knocks down our temperatures a little bit. Plus, we'll have more clouds around once they bubble up with those rain chances around Tuesday, Wednesday. But the overnight lows are in the 60s. Overnight lows are a good indicator of how much humidity you have or how high that dew point is. And when they're warmer, you can tell you've got some humidity around. Here's your Thursday, the Euro thinking mid to upper 80s. I agree with that. That's your storm threat. And then we would have another one. See how we cool down this weekend? Upper 60s, low 70s, right around average. That's where we should be. And then we heat back up perhaps next Tuesday out ahead of that next storm system. So your severe threats here are noted by two of the highest temperatures on there, the 81 next week and 86 on Thursday. So severe threat Thursday, severe threat next Tuesday as well. All right. And then we would cool down behind that. And then who knows what happens, but the Euro is saying we stay pretty mild. So this is also why I think it's okay to plant now. All right. Because we don't have any really cold temperatures. This is that area we'd have to watch here. We'll keep our eye on next week behind this front as well. This is always product when high pressure settles in. usually a day or two after a front passes, you get the coolest readings. So you get cold front here, and here's your high pressure a couple days later. That's where you get those cool nights. Remember, high pressure, settling effect of the atmosphere when you have a high pressure over, so that air just settles and it allows us to really cool down quite a bit. All right, let's answer your questions. You guys have any? And if you don't, that's okay too. But we'll get you on your way here. And as always, for those folks that don't stick around for the question, thanks for joining us. I really do appreciate it. And don't forget to catch us on the radio side of things, XRock 103.9, Indiana 105.5, and Z107.1. Also, regionweather.com. You can sign up for daily emails. Goes right to your inbox, something I type up, and something special for you that's not by a computer or a bot, all right? And we don't use AI yet. So there's that. All right, let's get to it. Let's see. Jesse says, got the yard mowed and the kids full up. That's awesome. So property values came way down. We did the same thing. We have this big blow-up pool, with the fan. I'm telling you, those parents with kids, if you don't have one of those blow-up pools yet, I'm telling you, that is the best investment we've ever made. The kids will spend hours on there every day, every summer. It comes with a blower usually. You attach the cord to that, and it blows this whole thing up. It rarely gets holes in it or leaks. These things are pretty sturdy, and we store it awful too, and we just crunch it in the garage every winter. Then you hook the hose up to it, and it's like a big fort. It's awesome, 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 awesome. So hopefully the kids enjoyed that, Jesse. Melanie says, hi from Dumont. Hi, Melanie. Thanks for joining us tonight. Oh, Deb, yeah, absolutely. Anyone else sniffling and sneezing? So tree pollen is off the charts right now. Obviously, everything's greened up, but grass pollen's even starting to creep up as well. I get pollen numbers from I don't even know what they are, an allergy company. It's not pollen.com or anything like that. The thing about pollen.com and some of these websites, you'll go on there and it says it's like extreme every single day, but also next to it, there are a bunch of ads for Claritin and stuff like that. There's some kind of money exchange going on there. And I don't know if pollen.com is always accurate, but anyway, we have a service that I follow on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that they go out and measure the pollen every single day. They're one of those. And I know there's one in Chicago too. But anyway, they don't have grass pollen as high yet, but I'm telling you, when I mowed lawn over the weekend, our grass here in our lawn is going to seed already, you can tell. And when the grass goes to seed, that's when the grass pollen ramps up, usually in June and July or late May. And I'm sniffling and sneezing. I'm not allergic to tree pollen. I'm allergic to grass pollen. And so that grass pollen's getting up there as well. So if you are an early spring sufferer, it's the tree pollen that's doing it now. That will start to back off over the next month, and then the grass pollen takes over from there. And then it's always ragweed later on, like fall, like August, September. So there's that. Let's see. Heather says, best day ever. Absolutely. Got to pull up as well, Heather. Awesome. Let's see. Jacob says, is this a tornado outbreak bad or just severe storms? So right now, Jacob, there would be a tornado threat with it. It would be closer to that low in my mind, which would be Minnesota and Iowa the day before, but then it would spread in here on Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. So there is a tornado threat with it in my mind. There would be some shear present. That low is not far off, but to me, it would be more of a damaging wind threat. So I think it's a combination of both. I would lean more towards damaging winds, but tornadoes can't be ruled out, especially in that atmosphere. That atmosphere is going to be ready to go on Thursday. And it all depends, the one thing that could mess it up and keep us from a big severe weather event would be if there was some kind of complex or some kind of large area of rain from the night before that would move through and kind of help us to not heat up to upper 80s, all right, on Thursday. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. That's something that we'll be watching when it comes to that. All right. Let's see. Chris, yeah, that's a really good question. He says, is there a cap on this? And so remember the last severe weather event, what Chris is alluding to is we had a cap on the atmosphere. So we had a little layer of warm air aloft. It basically put a lid on the atmosphere. Clouds couldn't rise above that level and condensate. So it prevents big storms from developing. Chris, there will likely be a cap in place earlier in the day, but I expect that cap to erode. And the thing that's different about this is there's strong forcing coming in. There's strong uplift with that front. That's a vigorous front that has real chilly air behind it. So you get this heavy, dense air that falls behind the front. That dense air squeezes and comes out with that cold front. Okay, so if you picture it, you have this real area of cool, dense air because it sinks to the ground. That's where your frontal boundary is, right here. Behind it's all this cold, dense air, right? So that cold, dense air comes in. Here's your warm air. cold, dense air comes in, and where's the warm air go? It can't keep going forward. It can, but it also goes up. And so, because that cold air needs to replace it, so it pushes the warm air up, if that makes sense. I always try to explain things. You probably don't need these explanations, but anyway, so that pool of cool air and the forcing with that front, with how strong it is, will be enough to erode that cap. All right. I do not see a situation where we don't have severe storms somewhere in the vicinity. I can't say that your backyard's going to get one, and who's not, but I do see that as being a non-issue in terms of the cap later that afternoon into the evening. So great question on that. Thanks for asking that. All right. I think we're going to cap it off with Chris's cap question. All right. Okay. So thanks for joining us. As always, we're going to have more updates throughout the week. You know how we do it. All right. Most of you have been around long enough that, when something's coming, we'll get the updates going. We're not going to bombard your Facebook feed, and we'll go from there. All right. So we'll have update tomorrow morning on kind of what the week looks like as a whole, and then we'll go forward from there, taking an eye on that Thursday severe threat. Okay. So again, in recap, severe weather is pretty possible, if not likely, on Thursday. This would be a hot and humid day. Humidity will increase on Tuesday. It'll be humid on Wednesday, and then Thursday's the day when those storms would hit. We are going to have a few pop-up thunderstorms around here Tuesday, Wednesday, though. I'm not worried about severe weather from those, okay? It's the Thursday one. There's such better dynamics with this system coming in. And then we would take a break. We'd cool down for the weekend a little bit. Still very comfortable because it's May. It's awesome. The cold air is not as cold. And then next week, I'm tracking or keeping my eye on a Tuesday severe threat the following week, all right? So Thursday and then Tuesday the following week, all right? All right, you're welcome. Junie, thanks for saying thank you. I appreciate you joining us. Carol, you as well. Let's see. Carol says, real quick, Carol, I'll answer your question. Hi from Winfield. Is there a chance the storm might go south of Northwest Virginia? Carol, there's always that chance, but it would go either north or south, and here's why. There's a big low up in Minnesota that day. I'll just show you on here before we go. I have it right here. So there's a big low up here. Okay, here's where your low is. So we would have explosive thunderstorms up here with the front, and then right here would be the trailing cold front. And once it gets triggered, once we get that lift and it goes through the cap that we'll have, we would see thunderstorms that develop right along that front, all right? If anything, they would go north, but I don't feel like they will. We're going to be right in the heart of where these storms develop from here all the way down really into southern Illinois, southern Indiana with this one, okay? The Euro just happens to say, hey, this is where your best chance is. And you can see it has a big chunk developing here, but we'll see. This is going to change over the next couple of days. I don't want to get too detailed on it. For right now, we're just going to broad brush it that storms are likely to develop Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, okay? And we'll keep it as that. So, all right. All right. Great question. All right, guys, thank you very much. Chris, thank you. You're welcome. Nancy and Carol. All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Happy Mother's Day to all our mothers. We'll talk to you guys